Enter the elite arena or craft with 1,000 essence. That is the dilemma that I'm facing this upcoming game week, game week 6 on Sorare. Lads, welcome back to my Sorare 26 journey. Hope you're all doing super well. Let me know in the comment section how you got on this past weekend, game week 5, which was the last week before international break. Which, yeah, it feels like this international breaks, it's come around far too quick for my liking. We've had like 3 big game weeks on Sorare so far, like game week 1, game week 3, and then game week 5 this past weekend. And yeah, it was a really good weekend, to be fair. Not good enough in the sense of like I could make a reward video out of it. It was incredible from like a cash perspective and stuff, which I'll get into. But no one wants to watch me open cash. Like, it's just not exciting, right? It's all about crafting and it's all about opening card rewards. I didn't win any card rewards. I did actually degen into a super rare craft earlier on today. I'm trying to get my bearings. I'm filming this at night time. I don't usually film these episodes at night. I usually do a reward video on Tuesday, and I had a couple of messages earlier saying, where's the reward video, Harry? And there wasn't one, because I just didn't think I could justify having one, because I wanted to save my essence for this international break, which I'll get into why in a minute. And I only won essence wise, just around 1800 essence in rare, that is, and then just over 1,000 in super rare. And like I said, I did craft a super rare. I got really lucky with the super rare craft, which I'll explain to you in a minute. But yeah, unbelievable weekend from a cash perspective. It was mainly down to the La Liga boys. So we did $651 in cash, plus a contender second streak, which won't show up there, and plus the MLS first streak I've hit again for $10. So basically like a $701 weekend, which is absolutely insane for me as far as like my the tracker goes, and trying to get back the ROI that we've spent, or get close to it. We're 32.5% of the way there as far as total winnings going, compared to the total spent. Last week, or on last week's episode, I did mention that I picked basically 12 players I think would score pretty well this past weekend. It's just a little something I'm going to do every weekend now, basically, or every time I make these videos. And I encourage you guys to get. Some of you did it in the comments as well, which was funny and great, and I want to see more of that. But yeah, I picked 12 players across 4 main leagues, Premier League, Bundesliga, and Ligue 1, and I basically said like I'm going to try and guess 12 players are going to score above a 60 points. I got 6 out of 11. Now I'm saying 11 because Siganikov didn't actually play for Sevilla. He was like injured effectively. He didn't even play. So I kind of NA'd that one. So I basically got just over 50%, 60%, whatever that is, 6 out of 11. I got the Elliot Anderson and João Pedro pretty right. Kudus blanked against Bournemouth, which was annoying. I smashed the Ligue 1 one, 3 out of 3 there, 92, 83, and 72. La Liga was pretty poor. Aldegula home to Mallorca was a bit of a cert, but only scored 67, but still at above. And I blanked in the Bundesliga, to be fair, which was disappointing. But yeah, I'll do that now after the international break. But yeah, not many things have really changed as far as like ins and outgoings go. I brought in a few Belgium League cards before game week 5 to try and hit streak number 3. I didn't hit streak number 3, but I didn't spend an amount to where like I wasn't comfortable with. I'll get into it and stuff. But yeah, 2 relegations in Ligue 1, which was disappointing. Mendy actually played despite scoring 0. As horrible as that is to admit, he was just horrendous. Although he had like 40 AA the week before, so the ups and downs there were very disappointing, to say the least. Buonani went to Stuttgart before the deadline, so that was just dead before he even kicked the ball. And Greenwood didn't do much away to Lyon. So yeah, 2 relegations there. Mentioned it earlier, the La Liga boys are on fire right now. I'm currently, I don't know what the exact percentage is, but basically I've won £650 and I've spent just under just over £1,160. So I'm probably at a 60% return on investment there for the La Liga boys. Like, had I not bought Mingueza, who I've literally not used, or I did use once and he DMP'd, Dolan the same, and Diaz, like you take those 2 out, or those 3 out of the equation, that's like £360 spent. I'd almost be at like 70, 80, 90% ROI. Like, obviously it's easy to say, but what I'm saying is like I haven't even used those players basically, because I bought them as like depth, but they just haven't been even that for me. I've stuck with Yamal, obviously, Fornals. Puado, big chance missed, lads. Look at this. Big chance missed. In what would have been, I think I would have won the competition had he scored that ish. So yeah, I was 39 points away. You can't see us behind my face cam, but I will, just to prove that I'm not lying. There we go. Look at that. 39 points away. Yeah, brutal, to be honest, because everything else worked out so well. Like Escandel and Calvo, my Oviedo defensive stack is just, yeah, it's just gone. I couldn't have dreamed of a better start for that defensive stack. It's the first time I played Calvo. I paid £70 for him. He's a classic unique, of course. And yeah, sadly that, Puado and Fornals couldn't really kick on too much. Puado's the annoying one, like at home to Osasuna, big chance miss. Like, I'm literally a decisive away from winning it, and that would have been $5,000. Like, I ended up winning $500, like just under with the boost and stuff, because Calvo gives you 20% boost, and then I get 4% on the ceiling. It's $5,000, right? It's 5x, like 10x. Sorry, what I actually won. I know it's easy to say, but like, it's fine margins this game sometimes. Fine margins. Yamal proves to be, the best card on the planet. No shocks there. Pro League was disappointing. Eredivisie did pick up a bit of XP, which is nice. Leo Gramil is back playing football, which is great. 60 points scored, which is really pleasing there. I did hit the streak with this lineup, but I didn't want the MLS Essence, so I cancelled the lineup. I know that sounds a bit elitist, but I had to do it. Well, I didn't have to, but I did. Challenger was super productive, to be honest. First time I put out 2 lineups. I had Dolcek, my unique super rare. No, he's a unique. He's an in-season unique at that. On his debut for me, gets a goal in the Dundee Derby. I got my captaincy perfectly in my secondary lineup, which was this lineup. But sadly, Otamendi in my main lineup lost the clean sheet, as you can see. Everything else really went my way. Zubkov scored a 90. Okay, the keeper didn't do too much. Lads, I know it's easy to say, but 32 points away from the top. Even if Benfica don't concede, I'd probably end up at least finishing second, maybe first. But I'm literally Bardaki or Otamendi. Switch those two, and I win the comp. Again, I know it's if buts and maybes all the time, but it's still bitterly frustrating. Still coming out with a bit of cash, and some essence. Like, what's great about this is, okay, it didn't cash. I was like 2 points away from cash, which is obviously so frustrating. I think it was literally 2 points. I was 1.62 points away, actually, just to make it a little bit more brutal there. But yeah, because I used both uniques, I get 104% on the lineup. So I basically got half a card from that. 512 essence, obviously I crafted 1,000. But yeah, sadly, even if I scraped into like the top 20, it would have been $140 because it's normally 70, but you get the double, or nearly $150 actually. So yeah, just fine margins, man. Fine margins. Shamal George with some really good AA. Elijah just couldn't really get any AA then. And Bardi did okay, away game. I didn't, this was my secondary lineup. I really didn't think, I couldn't really split Otamendi and Bardaki. Those were my best classic cards for the weekend. And, Bardaki was at home on reflection. I've probably missed a trick there, but Otamendi and Benfica were playing away to, a newly promoted side. And up until, the 80th minute, he was on, 65. He was kind of cruising. Okay, it's not 86, but, you get the point. So, yeah, really frustrating, to be honest. Just get your captaincies right, basically, is the moral of the story there. Challenger Rare was really frustrating as well. Both my D2s got relegated, but both my D3s went up. So I'm back to square one. Did not hit the streak there. I did hit the second contender streak. Now, you might notice I don't have contender on here. And it's because, I'm kind of just moneyballing it. I've spent, literally hardly anything. I've hit the streak. I've hit the first streak twice and the second streak once, which is to, here. I got Nishikawa in a trade. I paid £3 for Ishihara. Kryvak I paid £9 for. I've had Cecilia for months now. And then, Kim Run-sung. I've got him with credits as well. I think I paid £5 or £6 for. And that was a $40 second streak. So after the game, in game week 9, which will be obviously after international break, I'll be going for the third streak. So I will try and make adjustments and try and go for it. Why not? it won't be double rewards forever. So I think anyone should go for it if you've got the chance. I only just about hit in mine. I was 2 points over. I was waiting for Sorare to give me the green light so I could claim it, and I did. And thankfully I didn't get any opera adjustments, which was nice. Champion, the only success I got was this lineup here. Anthony Lopez with a really good score. Friday night went really well with the Lens boys, but Aguilar decided to not join in on the party there. Vinny was a bit of an anomaly in that one. Under 23 didn't go great either. Nuno Mendes with a penalty conceded. Trubin didn't play. Bazunu did the usual 30 score, and not much success here either. To be fair, this lineup did get promoted somehow with the Simsia captaincy. Verts with some nice AA for once. Haven't really seen that so far. Noah Eli scored really well here. But yeah, no clean sheets for my goalies. Just no success at all there, really. All-Star Super Rare. I had some wicked scores. Ortwin de Wolf getting an error-led to goal and an own goal, which was just fucking so annoying. Danny Ward gets a clean sheet. Maxime as my captain. To be fair, I got that one sort of bang on. Sorba Thomas was the worst scorer here, so I definitely didn't get that one right. Hans Van Aken did really well. And yeah, Livakovic's moved to Girona as a little random one. He played his last game for Fenerbahce. I didn't mean to click that there. And Michelangelo Balaquisha played his first game for Celtic, which was nice to see. Rares, again, bits of essence, but nothing crazy. We did get a couple of promotions. This started off so well. Like the top of this, those four played before these three. So you can just see who was pulling their weight and who weren't there. Sadiq scored. I was like, okay, buzzing, 60 points guaranteed, whatever. And then he gets a red card and an error-led to goal or penalty concession. So unbelievable. Arias has been horrendous since I ever bought him. I've only ever owned him like once on this game. I've always avoided Argentinian goalies apart from my go to Enrique Bologna. But he's just been an absolute car crash. And to be fair, Arena, this is the first week where Arena was really unsuccessful for me, to be honest. I hit a lot of XP, but you don't really go into Arena like with the sort of mindset of like, I want to win XP. You obviously want to win more essence back. I spent 800 essence, and all I won was 150. So I'm net, 650 down. I did hit quite a bit of XP, so 1,000, 1.5k. Okay, maybe it wasn't even as much as I thought. 1,500 XP. The rest of the XP came from other lineups, but overall, like an amazing weekend. Like obviously the cash really helps me sort of claw back, the amount we've spent already. I couldn't really ask for too much more. Now on the crafting front, I do have enough essence to craft in Rare. I have just under 2,000 essence. In Super Rare, I only have 330, and I did have 1,330, and that is because I crafted earlier a Ruben Vargas. I'll put the screenshot on the video now. I did it, mate. I just absolutely degened it. Like I was just on my laptop earlier today, and I saw somebody in a Discord say like, "Oh, I just pulled a Vinny," and I was like, I didn't know at the time if it was super or rare or limited actually for that matter, and I just had I don't know overwhelmed with degen feelings. I degened into a super rare craft, knowing that I didn't have any clues, knowing that I couldn't buy any clues because I only had 300 more essence, as you can see, and I ended up in a tier 2 special room, and my essence split was like La Liga, basically mainly Challenger, La Liga, and then like 2 or 1% contender. I just raw dogged it. I went for the 5th spot, which was Ruben Vargas. He was a tier 2, I guess. I missed out on Soroth, as you can see, which is a bit annoying, I guess. There was an Alistair Johnson in there who's injured, but obviously a really good card. There's a couple of good cards in there to be honest, but I'm honestly quite happy with Ruben Vargas. Like, take set pieces. Okay, he plays for Sevilla, who obviously are rubbish. Not as bad as Girona, clearly. 2 assists though last game. AA wasn't great. Excuse me. But somebody, if he can stay fit, like, that's a good addition to my midfield sort of cohort. Like, I've got Fornals, I've got Pedro Diaz. Like, he doesn't improve it, but he doesn't make it any worse. Like, he fits in quite nicely. Like, for Gameweek 9, which is, when the international break's done, I'm quite happy to just maybe run him instead of Fornals, potentially, just because they play at home to Elche, I think. Who, Elche, to be fair, have been pretty good, but Sevilla at home, I'd fancy him if he's fit to play and do pretty well. I've added him to to the spreadsheet in case we ever sell him. Obviously, I didn't spend anything on him technically, so he comes in as a 0. But yeah, things are going well, and we obviously come into an international break where, you know, as a Welsh fan, you know, I've got a lot to play for. Wales only play once, which is the next game week. I brought in a Carl Darlow Classic Super Rare. There's only 4 of these in existence, and actually, there's only 1 Classic Carl Darlow. Actually, no, I'm not lying. He is the only one. Someone bought one for 115. Wow, that is ballsy, by the way. I don't know why you would really do that. But 3 days ago, I bought the Classic for £40. He's the only Classic ever, basically, right now, until those Leeds cards come out of, you know, in season like next year. But yeah, it's the 1 of 10, which is nice. And yeah, I have a rare, but he's in my vault right now, and I can't get him out until the deadline's over. So I might have to play late arena with the Welsh boys, which I'll get into. This is going to be part of today's dilemma and video and stuff. But yeah, I can't believe somebody paid that much 4 hours ago, to be honest. That's kind of shocked me. I think did he buy that off somebody? Yeah, he did. Oh wow, someone won it. Okay, interesting. That is a lot of money for a backup. Well, like he obviously plays for Wales, but a backup Leeds keeper. But then that does allow me now to go into game week 6 with the options of, you know, running. I could basically run a full super rare Welsh stack, which, you know, is it stupid? Yes. Does it sound amazing? Also, yes. As you can see, I have the Danny Ward as well. Danny Ward got concussed, and he's not even number 1 for Wales right now anyway. So this is what I could go in with technically in All-Star. I'd have to kind of risk Mepham. I don't know if Mepham's going to play, to be honest. This is why, like, it's probably a stupid idea to go with the full super Welsh stack. But like, if I could tell myself that, like, you could go and win All-Star with a full Welsh stack, like, that would just send me over the edge, right? That's the sort of pinnacle of so rare for me. If I could do this, especially now that it's SO7. Like, we haven't had an international break yet where we've had SO7, so this would be the first time I could run a lineup like this. And a part of me really wants to. Like, the rewards are okay. You know, there's 10 cards given out. 14 cards given out. Decent amount of essence, down to 100. There's only 167 players, 76 players right now. That will increase. I'm filming this Tuesday night. The deadline is not until Thursday morning. Like, I'll definitely put a super rare team in. We'll kind of have a little look at, you know, what the best team I could sort of put in. But I do have the option to go all Wales. Sadly, like I said, I can't really do that in rare, and that's because I was an idiot, and I wasn't really an idiot. I vaulted Carl Darlow because I bought a new season 1, and I bought him. There he is. So I bought him about a month ago, and I can unseal him in one day and basically 14 hours. And as you might know, the deadline is 1 hour and 1 day and 12 hours away. So I can basically unvault him 2 hours after the deadline, which in theory should be okay if I want to play arena with a Welsh stack, or even uncapped arena, or like I mentioned in the intro, do I go in and degen into elite arena, which is a new form of arena that Sorare brought out for the international break, where it costs 1,000 essence in rare and limited to go in, 500 essence in super rare, and these are the prizes. If you win just a normal one, you get 5,000 for first, 2,500 for second, 1,500 for third, and then the XP for fourth and fifth. But if you get into a golden arena, where normally golden arenas are only 5% of arenas, but there's going to be 20% of the elite arenas are going to be golden, and if you win that, you get 15,000 essence, which is monstrous, isn't it? Like, it's insane. 6,000 for second is also huge, and as is 3,000 for third. So right now there's 23 people that have entered in rare, so that basically means there's two full arenas, right? Like 10, and obviously there's 3. That will grow, and you can, like I said, I'll probably end up doing a late arena, I think, because Wales play on that Thursday, first game. So I might wait until I can see the lineup, and probably go in there. Like, I can't put Darlow in here right now because I don't have one. I do have a super rare, but I'm waiting for my rare to come in. But I'll put the super rare in there as a placeholder for now. And if I was to go like all Wales, it would probably be Wilson, Darlow, Ben Davis, Harold Wilson. There's no XP in here as well, so it doesn't matter like what level your card is. Brennan up front, and then it's probably double defense, to be honest. I'd probably go in with Nico. You know, Nico, Ben Davis, double defensive stack, Wilson and Brennan Johnson as my midfield and forward. That's probably what I would go in with if I go in with the full Welsh stack. After the deadline, that is, of course, because I couldn't get my Darlow out. The reason I vaulted Darlow was because he was 200 vaulting points at the time. He might end up being close to that again now because his value is going up. So if I do unvault him, I will go back down to 9% vault percentage, which is not the end of the world. I'd only need like 102 points to get back up. I have brought in some rare goalkeepers to play for this midweek as well. Bailey Peacock Farrell being the main one. I bought 2 of him. I did buy a Dan James, because I've never owned Dan James, weirdly, on Sorare. He was super cheap, and I have a little like tiny Fulham collection from that year. I traded in a Dimitar Mitov for a player that I think or thought was going to go to Saudi, but I don't know whether this felt or like the buy or something. Thiago Silva. I added a bit of cash and then got Mitov in. I might keep him. If he sells, he sells. I don't really care what happens there. We'll see. And obviously he's challenger, so I wouldn't mind keeping him, but yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Hagen's playing this midweek as well, £4 for his goalkeeper card, and then Morris the same, playing for Luxembourg. Luxembourg actually play against Northern Ireland. So these are the fixtures. Wales away to Kazakhstan. Not an easy game for us, like, you know, a decent chance of a clean sheet and stuff, but really not an easy game. I'm going to actually move myself back up because I forgot I was hovering down there. But yeah, Wales fixture and yeah, lineup is looking like that. I don't think I would change much, if anything. Maybe Cabango over Mepham. Bellamy doesn't really seem to love Mepham, to be honest. We've got the Turkey lineup there. Lithuania, Malta. We've got Netherlands, Poland. Bart Verbruggen is the only under-23 keeper playing this midweek. I do have a rare, which is nice. So I think I've got on paper a really strong under-23 rare team, which I'll show you in a minute. Spain play Bulgaria away. Yamal Pedri and Dean Huijsen all predicted to start, which is great for me. A couple of World Cup qualifiers: Suriname, Panama, Guatemala, and El Salvador. Hagen plays for Guatemala, as does Aaron Herrera, if you didn't know. And then you've got some of the South American ones as well. Brazil at home, Argentina at home, Colombia at home, Uruguay at home. All the favourites are at home, basically. Maybe bar sort of like Paraguay, Ecuador's quite even on the odds and stuff. Vinny didn't get called up, for example. There was a few sort of, I think they're through already, but Brazil, yeah, they've qualified already, so they're just sort of testing the waters. I think Ancelotti is with some of the players there. But that's all the fixtures this midweek. So yeah, like there's not a ton of players to choose from, really. And yeah, I had a load of outfielders that I really wanted to play, so that's why I brought in a ton of goal. Well, not a ton, but a decent amount of goalkeepers. I've had Bart for years. Bart's a mainstay in the gallery. So yeah, we're definitely going to be attacking under 23 rares best as I can. I'm going to be using my best super rares in here as well. Hence the Dean Huijsen. Yamal's obviously going to come down as well from super rare. Extra position for me is quite tricky, honestly. Like, it's basically either João Pedro, Diego Gomez, maybe Genetis here. Palestri is probably quite safe, but his scores aren't really too pleasing. I think it's probably worth risking João Pedro. I think he probably does play. I'm way over the cap, so I won't be getting any bonuses there. But I think that's a really strong team. Like, there might be a few stronger teams than that on paper, like XP and stuff, and even personnel. Like the Bast is a little bit dodgy, maybe not fully nailed according to the predictions. But like in D1, they're giving out 2 stars, 2 tier 1s, 5 tier 2s, and then the rest is essence. But like right now, there's only 63 people in D1, and they're giving out essence to top 100. So I've got a mind to where, like, if that is still under 100, I might just play a second team that doesn't have a goalkeeper. Like, I can play, like, for example, I could just play sort of my leftover, some of my leftover cards here that some of them should play. So they will score points, but like I'm not expecting too much. But like that team, like everyone there should actually feature. It's basically goalkeeperless. But if like I said, if the amount of entries is less than what they're giving out in essence, then I might as well go for it, right? It's basically I'm just getting free essence at that point. Like I'm guaranteed, what is it, like 100 essence or 250 for top 100, because I've got 2 D1 entries. Is it? Yeah, top 100 get from 51st to 100 get 250. So I've got a good mind of just going in going into that, I've got a feeling it'll probably come above 100 right now. Like if we're a day and 12 hours away and it's on 63, it probably does increase. And so yeah, we'll see how that sort of pans out. And then we'll go back to the Super Rare lineup. Like I said, I sort of flirted with the idea of doing that full Welsh thing. I don't think it's the most optimal, to be honest. I'm kind of forced to play Welsh players. But I have Otamendi at home to Venezuela. It's quite hard to not pick a player like that over Chris Mepham away to Kazakhstan, who might not even start himself. I am more than happy to play Nico though. Midfield gets a little bit tricky. I'm probably forced to play some of the Welsh lads, which I'm not mad about, but Hans van Aken away to Lithuania could also be absolute smashville. I'm kind of only able to really play Brennan here with confidence. Aken maybe plays. He'll definitely feature against Georgia, but again, I don't think it's a certainty. And then it's basically Bardaki or Sorba Thomas. Now Sorba Thomas he's put in a hell of a shift so far this season for Stoke. And again, for Wales, these were his last two Welsh scores. 100 against Belgium, by the way, and 79 against Lithuania. So again, it's quite hard to not even to not pick him, to be honest. I think he deserves to be picked. He plays so well for Wales. And I do think the captain probably does have to be Otamendi. Now, the beautiful thing about this, I know excluding Hans van Aken, the only other part of the world where they speak Welsh, if you didn't know, there's a little history lesson for you, is in Patagonia in Argentina. So I feel quite not connected to the Argentinians, but because of that sort of Welsh-Argentinian connection, I feel quite sort of confident in Captain Otamendi there and not sort of betraying my fellow countrymen in either Nico, Sorba, Brennan or Wilson. So yeah, I feel quite confident about that one as a lineup, and hopefully the boys can bring it home. A couple of 70%ers, but it is what it is. It's so hard to predict international break teams and stuff, so I can't knock the predictors. Sorry, it's going to be really, really hard. Now for me, we're down to the rares. So it's I want to put a couple of good all-star teams in, but I also want to use some of my essence in arena, maybe even uncapped arena, and I definitely want to just try out elite arena. But like I said, do I wait for Darlow or do I do something he's in a good fixture against Luxembourg despite being away. It's the best fixture out of everything I've got here. Is either Hagen, or Bailey Peacock-Farrell. He's the lowest L15, which then allows me to play some of the players I have in rare that could potentially score really well. I've got a Kimmich rare, which again, away to Slovakia, or is it Slovenia, one of the two. You'd like to think there could be a decent score there, but again, his L15 is really high, so those kind of balance each other out as 52 L15s. I'm not blessed with forward. Diaz is a really good option at home to Bolivia. His L15 is very, very high though, which kind of worries me a little bit. Could go with one of the Welsh lads. So I'm basically just showing you what I could do if I didn't do a full Welsh lineup with Darlow in goal. But then the issue is, well, it's not an issue. If I don't play Darlow, I can't play Darlow in All-Star, right? That's a given. I just cannot do that because he's just not going to be unvaulted in time. But I'm thinking if I played Bailey Peacock-Farrell and whoever else in this lineup in this elite arena, I could always play Darlow and another 4 players in in a normal arena, right? I could just spend 100 essence and play normal arena that with a Welsh stack. I don't have to put it in this elite arena. You've got to think there's going to be some good lineups in here, and that's not to say a Welsh lineup couldn't do well, but I want to give myself the best chance possible, without any bias sort of involved. I don't really have too many outfielders here that have really low L15s. And that's where I'm thinking, I don't even think it's worth playing a Diaz here. I think I could probably get away with maybe even, depending on how the lineups look. I don't have to submit this now. I can submit this once the Welsh lineup comes out. And if Dan James is playing, I think that could be a decent option, against Kazakhstan. Could always get a cheeky assist or something. And it leaves me 110, points to get the rest of the boys in here. And then, you're probably going... I could back one of the Welsh lads maybe in Nico. And then that leaves me 56 points for an extra player, which feels fine. That's a decent amount of... I could go Harry Wilson, to keep it in the in the tradition, or I go with like a Bruno Guimaraes or even a Kochu. I'd probably go with Bruno though at home to Chile. I'd like to think there'd be a decent amount of all-around score there for him, maybe even a decisive. It's not a bad lineup. Like that's under the cap, obviously, and that would cost me 1,000 essence to get in. But if I got into one of the golden elite arenas, like you're looking at like 15,000 as the top, which would be insane. But yeah, I just don't know if people are going to be clever enough to find L15s like of 0, for example. Like Bailey Peacock Farrell at 33 is pretty low for a starting player. I don't know if there's any really, really low players, which I probably should have a look into to see if there is. Like, I don't have any myself that are like on to play. Like Aaron Herrera's 40, he's on to play, but that's about it. There's obviously other players, don't get me wrong. So yeah, I do have one mind thinking that like, yeah, that could be the option. But then I look at the prize pool in All-Star. Like I have 3 Division 2s and I have 1 Division 1. So the Division 1 pool, they're giving out 10 stars, by the way. 10 stars is huge. 14, 15 tier 1s, 25 tier 2s, and then like top 100 get 1,000 essence. And then they're paying essence down to 50 to 500. There's over that right now. There's 665 playing, but like not all of them will be like full lineups, for example. But like for D1, I've got half a mind to just go as kind of can here, and if that means that, you know, playing my Kimmich here, for example, and not playing him in Elite Arena, then so be it. Like I do think I could probably give this a go. Argentina at home, De Paul at home to Venezuela, feels pretty nice. Diaz at home to Bolivia. I've basically got all the South American lads. I could go Otamendi, Davison Sanchez, all at home bar Kimmich so far. And then the goalie's the tough one. Like I either play one of the Farrells, or I go with Hagen at home to El Salvador, which I'd probably end up doing. It could be like a little cheeky little differential. And then for the extra player, you're looking at either Casemiro, which wouldn't be amazing, I guess. Casemiro, we could go Bruno Guimaraes. Could even go Lo Celso. He's not like fully nailed according to this. Even throwing one of the Van Akens, I mean, that wouldn't be a terrible idea. The fixture is amazing for Belgium. It's just whether or not he actually starts. And then it's probably Captain Kimmich. That L15 is just over 450, which is just bonkers, really. Like, that is the type... Like, I'm not saying that will win it, but that is the type of lineup that could end up winning All-Star. There's going to be better lineups than that, though. Like, if Messi plays and stuff, like, there's still players that, like, I don't have that could just act, like De Bruyne, for example. Like, there's some huge players that probably end up just popping off. But because I only have 1 D1, I've got, like, a right mind of going, okay, go really strong in my first All-Star lineup, and then start considering the arena lineups after that. Because what have I got goalkeeper-wise now? I've got the 2 Farrells, I've got Mitov, I've got 3, and then I'll have the Darlow as well. So I could technically play... I mean, yeah, let's see what the second All-Star lineup would look like first before jumping to any conclusions. Let's go Van Hecker at home. Juan Caceres at home for Paraguay. Feels okay. We've got another De Paul, which I don't mind using. We've got another Van Aken. We've got a Kochu. We've got Harry Wilson's coming out of our ears there. Let's go Kochu. Up front, it's probably Depay, isn't it? Could be Brennan, but no, probably Depay. Depay at home to Poland. Not an easy game, but I'd probably back him there. And then just to maybe differentiate from the Van Aken, I'd probably go Bruno. Probably Captain De Paul. That does come under the 370, which is really nice. So I do get the 4% bonus on that. Again, it's D2, so like it shouldn't be as strong as the lineups in D1, but there will be some strong ones in there, of course. But that makes me feel a bit better. So that's one of the Farrells used. Yeah, like I said, it all depends on what I do with that Elite Arena. Do I go in with like a Welsh defensive stack and wait for Darlow? Or do I sort of, go in with Bailey Peacock Farrell and then use some of the really strong, like higher L15 guys that I have? That's basically what I've got to contemplate. But I'm going to throw it all into All-Star for now, in case anything sort of changes. Or throw like what my next best lineup would look like. If Michele plays for Belgium, that could be huge as well. Let's go Nico Ben Davies, and then We'll play the Farrell. We can't play Darlow, unfortunately, so we can't even like sort of test run with him. I think what's his name? Wilson probably deserves to get in there. We'll give Wilson the armband. That again comes in as the 4% as well. I do have one of the Farrells on the market. I'll just take that off there. And then the last All-Star team would be the Mitov one, which, how does the defense look here? Jonathan Tah. Let's just throw the Bardaki in there. Probably, yeah, you can risk Lascelles in like the 4th lineup. I don't feel too bad about doing that. Dan James probably fits in here. And then, yeah, Yilmaz might play. Got a couple of Turkish lads there that could feature. Goretzka maybe. I'm probably just going to go with Brooks. I'll keep it Welsh. Again, give Wilson. I think the L15 was actually like almost the exact same. 362 there. So yeah, that is probably what I'm going to go in with for this upcoming midweek. Like I said, I definitely will play the Elite Arena. It's all going to depend on what that Welsh lineup looks like for me. Whether Dan James starts, whether whoever, right? Like, it all depends on what happens there. But I've got to be really sort of clever about it in the sense of like, if I've already locked players into All-Star, well then I could use them in late Elite Arena, but I'd obviously cancel the lineup. So I want to do it to where I've left out players like ready for the late Arena. And I think Arena in general probably will be quite lucrative, but I also think the essence on offering some of these competitions this midweek, like especially All-Star, doesn't seem too bad at all. Like as far as like the numbers go, ratio, like user ratio to rewards, like it does look really, really nice. So one Super Rare lineup, it'll be 4 All-Star lineups, and then probably one late Arena, with alongside the two Super Rare, the 2 under 23 lineups. I did have a right mind of trying to maybe go for the Super Rare under 23 comp. There's only 24 entries, right? Top 20 get Essence, like at a minimum. They're giving out 2 tier 1s, which we'll have a look at the pool now. I wouldn't imagine it's like insane, but I'm sure it's very good. Pepe, Paul Wanner, Froholt, wow, Gravenberch, Sesko. Yeah, it's obviously a very good pool. Atabolu, Estavio in there, Tyler Morton, Joe Bellingham. I mean, yeah, obviously it's a very, very good pool. And the only playing goalkeeper is Bart, right? I just don't have his Super Rare, which again, there will be people that do have him that does have like an edge on me there, I guess. But I do have technically, I do have enough players to field a team here. Okay, it might not be like the best team in the world, but something like this, like obviously Yamal, but then people are gonna obviously have Pedris in here. Like people will have better lineups than this, and they'll probably have Bart. So I'm probably going in knowing that like I probably can't finish top 4. Let's say I might probably scrape Essence, but like I just think I'm way better suited to just play rare with my better Super Rares, Yamal and Hoyce in there, and bring them down, because like I'm playing with a Pedri, I can play with a Vert, right? Like I can surround them with a lot more quality and give myself a chance of maybe hitting a star in under 23, right? Like that's not out of the realm at all. Where in Super Rare without Bart probably is out of the realm, I would say. And that's not to say Bart will probably, like, I'm not convinced that Bart will score like incredibly well. Like they might even concede a few against Poland. Like it's not a gimme, like clean sheet fixture. And so yeah, I think I'm playing it safe, but I also think there's more upside in me bringing those Super Rares down. And then yeah, we'll have another two game weeks worth of international fixtures. Like I said, Wales don't play again, which is annoying. So I'm showing you now, this is the upcoming weekend, which is game week 7, I guess. There's a lot more games going on, to be fair. There's a bit of La Liga 2 as well. There's a bit of MLS actually, which is funny. And then yeah, obviously internationals as well. So this one's a bit more all over the place. There's loads more games. And so yeah, lots more to choose from, especially like under 23 keepers wise. Like there's a lot of keepers playing this weekend, I think. From even just the players I actually own myself, I could see that yeah, Trubin plays, Ika Alvarez plays, Mikovic plays for LA. Bazanu I don't think starts for Ireland anymore, but he'll be in the squad. And then obviously Bart plays again as well. So a lot more to choose from this weekend. And I'm sure the prizes don't necessarily reflect that. Like the prizes are basically the exact same. That's why I think like this midweek is really, like really lucrative, like as far as like the rewards goes. Because I remember Sorare saying that they like increase rewards and stuff, but which they have, but they've given the same rewards, it seems, for both weekends, where there's clearly way more players, definitely goalkeepers anyway, in U23, for example, like on the weekend than compared to this midweek, where this team's lined up. So having the bar is obviously very lucrative this midweek. And yeah, it's one of them where maybe they should have, allocated more rewards to the weekend rather than the midweek, but it's too late right now. Although I did have a bit of pull, lads. I don't think whether you saw it or not, but a little bit of gloating to end the end of the stream. I noticed that the Sorare deadline would have been Tuesday, right, for this midweek, and I was like, well, the first game is Wales. They play on Thursday. Like, what's the point? What's the point having the deadline like that far away, right? Like, sorry, what's the point having the deadline on Tuesday if the first game they're playing is on Thursday? So I made this tweet. Wow, it's got 50,000 views. Yesterday it did not have that. But basically, I just made this tweet saying, with the afternoon game week, with the first game of the midweek, not till Thursday, what's the point having the deadline closing on the Tuesday? Helps a lot of DMPs as far as like training injuries go. We might even get managers let us know, lineups and stuff. Like Ancelotti, I think, has named the Brazil team already, or what, the bones of it will be. And then, yeah, Sorare just I didn't know they were going to do it, but Sorare just randomly quoted it and said, since there are no matches between Tuesday and Thursday, we're moving the deadline. So, yeah, the Harry Trades armies managed to move a Sorare deadline. So that's going on the CV, that's going on the resume. Yeah, I'll be telling that to my next employer as one of my biggest and best accomplishments in the space. Yeah, that's crazy. 50,000 views. That's probably the most views a tweet has ever got. Now, obviously, that's because Sorare quoted it, but I'll take it. It still shows 50,000 on my on my tweet. But yeah, only messing. But yeah, I'm glad they changed it though. Like I really didn't expect them to, but I'm glad they sort of noticed that. The Welsh lineup got updated an hour ago. Let's have a look at this. Rumours are that 3 players are pulling out of the squad: Ward, Broadhead, and one other. A couple of guesses that it's Nico. Interesting stuff. I wonder why he would pull out. I mean, he could be injured, but I mean, I get the Danny Ward one. I kind of knew that because he's going to be in like concussion protocol. So Broadhead kind of makes sense. Well, I think he was quite dodgy for like the last Wrexham game or something as far as like fitness goes. But yeah, the Nico one would be a bit of a blow. I hope that doesn't actually happen. But like I said, we wouldn't even know this, or like even if we did know this, if our lineups were already locked in like today on Tuesday, like this information would be pointless to us, right? So we've still got all of tomorrow, Wednesday, and we'll have Thursday morning as well to know to know a bit more information. So yeah, thankful for Sorare for changing the deadline stuff. It really did help. That's been an absolute pleasure. I've done 43 minutes, which yeah is in and around what the last episode was. So I didn't go above 50. I kept between the 40 and 50 mark. Yeah, I hope you have a really good international break. It can be a nice time to sort of switch off a little bit as well. If you're playing Sorare and stuff, you're playing Premier League or whatever competitions you play. I've been playing for years now, so I've accumulated a lot of cards, and a lot of them play internationally. I'm obviously a big Welsh fan. I don't support any clubs. I support Wales. So me having Welsh cards, is a lot of I get a lot of enjoyment out of that part of the game. Playing for the internationals and stuff on Sorare isn't necessary at all. I would argue it really isn't. But like I said, if you've been around for a while and stuff and you've just accumulated cards, it's just a nice to have. But the fact that I'm obviously a big Welsh supporter and stuff, and having super rares and rares and stuff of the cards that I love watching, then it does add a bit of a special touch for me personally. But like I said, it doesn't have to be like that for everyone, and I completely understand it if it's not. But yeah, I'm really excited for the next few game weeks. Hopefully no big injuries or anything to any of our players for when game week 9 kicks back on for the domestic football in a week or so's time. And yeah, appreciate you all watching, lads. Please do leave a like on the video. It means the absolute world to me. Honestly, the response on these videos have been ridiculous since the start of the season. Genuinely, I love making them, and I hope you enjoy watching them and learn something maybe now and again. And yeah, I appreciate the interaction so much. Good luck for the international break, like I said already. Hope you have a good one, and I shall see you guys in the next episode.